Disclaimer: this video is created solely for educational and informational purposes. All historical events, facts, and interpretations are based on credible sources and presented in a non-political, non-biased manner. We do not claim ownership of any referenced material. Viewers are encouraged to explore further research for a deeper understanding. Part 8: The Path to a Divided Nation, 1845 to 1861. The expansion westward, promise and tension. The idea of manifest destiny swept across the land. The belief that America was chosen to spread its democracy from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Pioneers traveled westward, building towns, farms, and railroads across untamed wilderness. For many, the frontier was hope, a second chance at life, a place to carve out freedom and prosperity. But the westward dream carried a darker reality. Every new territory asked the same burning question: would it be admitted as a free state or a slave state? Each decision shifted the balance of power in Congress. Each debate brought the nation closer to rupture. The promise of westward expansion was not unity. It was a widening divide. The Mexican-American War, victory and dilemma. In 1846, war erupted between the United States and Mexico. Young soldiers like Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee, men who would one day face each other as enemies, fought side by side beneath the same flag. The victory was swift. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo gave America vast new lands: Texas, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and more. The map of the nation had doubled. It was a triumph of arms, a signal to the world of American strength. But with victory came a dilemma. Would these new lands embrace freedom, or would they be shackled to slavery? For every acre gained, the conflict grew sharper. The Mexican-American War had not only expanded America's borders, it had widened its fault lines. The Compromise of 1850, a fragile balance. Leaders tried desperately to hold the Union together. The Compromise of 1850 was meant to ease tensions. California would enter as a free state, but the South gained the Fugitive Slave Act, forcing Northerners to return runaway slaves to bondage. Instead of peace, the law ignited fury. In the North, ordinary citizens were now complicit in slavery. Resistance grew, and abolitionist voices grew louder. In the South, leaders warned that any attempt to restrict slavery would mean secession. America was no longer arguing over policy. It was battling over its soul. The Kansas-Nebraska Act and Bleeding Kansas. In 1854, Congress passed the Kansas-Nebraska Act, allowing settlers themselves to decide the fate of slavery in their territories. What followed was chaos. Kansas became a war zone, Bleeding Kansas. Neighbors turned into enemies. Towns were burned, and blood was spilled in the name of democracy. The dream of peaceful self-government had given way to mob rule and violence. The world saw the cracks in America's foundation. A nation that preached freedom was now bleeding from within. The rise of Abraham Lincoln. Out of the chaos, a new leader began to rise. Abraham Lincoln, a lawyer from Illinois, captured the nation's attention with his clear, moral voice. He argued that America could not endure half slave and half free. The Union, he said, must stand for liberty, or it would not stand at all. Lincoln was not the most powerful man in America. He did not come from wealth or privilege, but he gave voice to the truth many feared to speak. Slavery was tearing the Republic apart, and the Union itself was in peril. In 1860, when Lincoln was elected president, hope was born in the hearts of millions, and fury ignited in the South. The final blow: secession. For Southern leaders, Lincoln's victory was intolerable. To them, it was the beginning of the end of slavery. One by one, states declared secession, tearing themselves from the Union. The dream of 1776. The fragile unity built through revolution and Constitution was crumbling. The United States was splitting in two. The stage was set for the Civil War, the bloodiest conflict in American history, and the ultimate test of whether this republic, conceived in liberty, could endure. The journey, so far, from Washington's steady hand to Jefferson's vision to Jackson's populism, the nation had grown powerful and proud. But now, as Lincoln took the oath of office, America faced its darkest hour. The Revolution had birthed a nation. Expansion had tested it. Democracy had shaped it. But slavery threatened to destroy it. And so the young republic marched toward its greatest trial, a war that would decide not just the fate of the Union, but the very meaning of freedom itself.